You will do it? So I had to find my there is a speaker as well because you gave me the cue. Quite interesting ideas as well about empathy in your country. I have been researching on empathy for, I don't know, the first time now, because I'm just fascinated by the important skill and it's part of emotional intelligence. Together with the relation, empathy is one of the skills that people possess, but apparently we don't, especially in stress moments, and especially in difficult situations. So I love this art. I'm going to read today those advocates because empathy could also have some pitfalls. But I love this part because it encompasses interesting words such as compassion, connect, listening, feelings, here, communication. Right? All fantastic if we know how to do it. I always feel the necessity to explain what empathy is because it is such an abstract term that if I ask you all, I think it's a yes, of course. Yeah? We are very empathic. Really, it's not that easy. I must even sport a culture. So it is the power of understanding another person's feelings. Yes, sorry, it is the power of understanding another person's feelings and identification with another person's situation as well, feelings and motives. Okay, that's an important one. But I like this power because if you are empathic, you are empowered to enhance dialogue, collaboration, problem solving. It seems, right? Not always, but it seems. So there are certain terms I would like to separate from each other. All of them need support in a difficult situation. So pity, I acknowledge your suffering, I acknowledge your situation. And for example, I forward you a news story about the accident to others. We have sympathy, and sometimes we feel that sympathy is the same as empathy, but it's not. Okay? See, there is an invisible wall between pity, sympathy. Sympathy is that I care. I show you that I care. For example, I send you a card. And then we move on to what is absolutely necessary in a work situation or in a educational setting. They are students. Need to have this skill. And there was a survey, a survey showing that, I don't know whether there is any American in the room. Yes, okay. That college students in the United States were losing the ability to be empathic. I speak about the United States because that was where the study was done, and I see you nodding. Our students, the new generations, are, it seems, losing this ability for various reasons. Could be technology, which is me, myself, and I, in technology. Could be after the pandemic. We do not know. We do not have enough data to determine that. It would be fantastic that we have this study in the rest of the world, see what is going on with our new generations. But if you are in front of, if you are a lecturer, a teacher, you know that this is going on. Okay. So we speak about two different kinds of empathy. But there are three. I will show you later. It is the cognitive empathy. Okay, you understand. Okay, empathy is about understanding. Okay, so we move to acknowledge, care, understand. So there's the cognitive one and the affective one. And the previous speaker, I think, was speaking about the affective one, how the teacher felt, how the father is terrible, but that is more affective, more about feelings than the cognitive one. And then we move to the next step, and that's compassion. I relieve those suffering. So not only understanding, but I take action. So empathy is, in a certain way, part of compassion as well. But compassion is about taking action. For example, being in a charity or trying to solve a certain situation. All of the two of them go hand in hand. So let's move on to the next one. Because, in fact, according to psychologists, there are three types of empathy. There's the cognitive one, being able to put yourself in someone else's place, perspective, different perspective. This one is the one we really want in organizations. We want that at schools. We want that then at the workplace. Why? Because it is not really about feelings. It is understanding what the needs are of a certain organization. Could be a school, could be a company, and understanding that means that you provide what is needed to solve the situation, to help your organization move forward. Emotional is a dangerous one. It is there because we are only human and we are driven by emotions, especially at certain moments. But you literally feel another person's emotions. It is very common in lectures, teachers, doctors, humanitarian help. So you need to feel that, but there is a danger. I will tell you afterwards about the pitfalls that empathy has got. Feeling could be overwhelming at times, so we need to protect ourselves. I don't know if in your situations, in your daily lives, you felt this overwhelming feeling going home and saying, I'm depleted because I've been listening to students, parents, whatever. And then, you try to understand those feelings. However, I think that the cognitive one, is the one we should be trained on. Okay? And then we have the generative one, or the empathic concern. It is about stating someone's feelings and you take action. So it is very close to compassion again. Okay? But this empathy culture, and I love this collective group. But is there, empathy sounds very, easy to achieve, but is it? Because there's such a complex context in what empathy is, and there are feelings involved as well, that we spoke about your setting in Palestine and so on. It's a cultural as well. I'll show you. In a recent, let's say, a study, taking into account the Interpersonal Reactivity Index, which is a tool used by psychologists to measure. Okay, it is available anywhere. This was the result, which is quite interesting, I must say, because we have top one on empathy, cultural empathy, Ecuador. Then we have Saudi Arabia, number 2, Peru, South Central American country. Then we have Denmark. Anybody from Denmark here? No? Interesting, as the only country from Northern Europe in the top 10. Okay. Then we have the United Arab Emirates, again, Saudi Arabia, Emirates, Korea, the USA. This is also a surprise, because it's quite individualistic. Those two countries are surprisingly high on empathy. Taiwan, Costa Rica, and Kuwait. So we have three blocks, it seems: South, Central America, Middle East, and East Asia. Plus these two exceptions, what do they come from, really? Okay. Because then the laws of empathy, I forgot to say that because the respondents were more than 100,000 respondents in 63 countries. And then we have Finland. Anybody from Finland? No? 58. Okay. And Venezuela, almost the last one. This doesn't give me answers, give me questions. I mean, why is Denmark number 4 and Finland, a northern European country, is very low? Venezuela, a South American country, is also almost the last one. How is this possible? Okay. Perhaps it has to do with collectivism versus individualism. So I just went to my countryman, Mr. Hofstede, okay, exploring his collectivism, individualism, and then yes, we know collectivist, there's the communal sharing, there's the no freedom, no equality, but the communal sharing, okay, versus the individualism, which is self-different from us, okay, market pricing, high freedom, high quality, and then we have some examples there as well. So again, I still have questions. Let's go, to a wider scope. We have the score, for some countries, they are very collectivist, Croatia, Greece. Then we have the individualistic ones. There it is, Finland. Okay. What makes sense? Okay. But Finland is very low in empathy. And then we go to high individualistic. And then we see Denmark. How is it possible, highly individualistic and at the same time very empathic? There must be something in the answers that, and the way the people filled out the survey that must be biased somehow, because I do not understand. So could be historical reasons, could be the societal structure, could be religion as well, okay, in the way we answer this particular survey. But again, it is incredible that such countries, so individualistic, are there high up in. If we have the global scope, we see the red ones, the red countries, highly individualistic, ties between individuals, beliefs, stress on personal achievements and individual rights, and we see the United States there as well in red, very individualistic. So I do not understand why individualistic and empathic behavior should not be able to go hand in hand. But again, I am highly surprised by this cultural empathy. Again, when you speak about historical empathy, could be that the answers given by these countries has to do with the historical empathy, affective connection to the past, and perhaps because of its societal structure, it is going to be in charities, volunteering, and so on. Could be as well that in many countries, to speak about your own feelings is not part of your culture. So when we are speaking about empathy, perhaps in Finland, they do not feel comfortable telling us how empathic we are. Whereas in Asia, perhaps, it is interesting to show the goodness, okay? How good you are to other people. Could be just your family, could be strangers. We do not know. There are many questions, many answers not given yet. So there is a lot to research still. Moving on to pitfalls. To be empathic is all very well. However, if you are in affective empathy, it could be that you compassion fatigue. You don't have time. So compassion fatigue is something that many professionals suffer from, especially, as I said, doctors, lecturers, humanitarian professionals. So there is lots of literature on that, and has to do with the second kind of empathy. So we need to somehow train our students, our professionals, to switch from the emotional one to the cognitive one, which is the one that helps organizations to move forward. You would be surprised to know what the symptoms are of compassion fatigue. They are, well, frightful, cognitive, spacing out, self-doubt, emotional, anxiety. And I remember my previous colleague speaking about the teacher being anxious. Yes, because that teacher is reaching that compassion fatigue, is trying to understand, hasn't got the training or the tools to move from that one to the cognitive empathy, behavioral, impatience, irritable, lack of sleep, spiritual as well, personal, withdrawal, distrust, physical, which is perhaps something that you have experienced sometimes. Short, rapid heartbeat, joint and muscle pains. You know, I've been feeling that way sometimes, being a lecturer as well. Dizziness and disorientation. These are serious symptoms. This is something we cannot ignore. And I am a firm believer that the empathy is a skill we all need, but the good one, okay? The good one. And not all of us are trained on how to be cognitively empathic. Another risk is what we call emotions monitoring. Perhaps you have seen in group dynamics, that some students adapt to some of the students, the or behavior of some of the students, and they, in a way, are monitoring what is going on. Okay, now this is the situation, so I adapt. But in that way of doing things is not sustainable because they lose themselves, and in the end, they suffer also for physical pain or for mental distress. So this is something that is another pitfall of empathy. And the final thoughts, yes, empathy could be trained, absolutely, but we need to know well how to do it. There are many factors that affect the way we empathic, culture, religion, society. So yes, culture has got an influence, but we need to research a bit more. We need to design tools that are, that are capable of the feelings from all the regions, okay, globally. Empathic compassion is a very dangerous thing for all of us. And yes, as I said last year, it is fantastic for inclusion and diversity. It is a must because it enables to build trust and creates a safe environment that is conducive to collaborative problem solving.